So you're well established in your self-defense system, in your martial art. You've been training for 10 years plus, black belt, and suddenly you're walking home from the supermarket one day and somebody smashes you over the back of the head, and then before you know it, you've got two unskilled, never trained in their life before thugs kicking you and stamping on you while you're on the floor, going through your wallet, taking your phone, giving you another little bit of a kick while they go away. So welcome to Evolution Gracie Jiu Jitsu. Today we're going to be talking about things that we can do to make ourselves a harder target. Now, even though it's impossible to stop everything potentially happening 100% of the time, there are things that we can do to make ourselves a harder target. If a potential predator selected us and they've decided they want something from us, what can we do to make it harder to be selected in the first place? Now, obviously there are certain things that we can do personal safety wise, in terms of, if we're going to be going to the supermarket, or we had to park somewhere and walk a certain distance to get to a certain location. So again, just thinking ahead of time, things that we can do, just personal safety wise, is just making sure that we're maybe parking quite close to where we need to be. If maybe it's a night time or whatever, because we've got to be aware of potential dangers, day versus night. If it is on the night, am I parked in a well-lit area? Am I walking in a well-lit area? Do I have somebody else that could go with me, who could be walking with me? We're going to be a harder target, within numbers. But it's not always practical to have somebody, walking with us, all the time. So what can we be doing, maybe if we are alone, to make ourselves a harder target? So a lot of this links in with our principles that we've talked about in a previous video in terms of situational and observational awareness. And if you remember in that previous video, we talked about the Cooper's codes. So for example, we've got white, and white's an awareness state that we don't want to find ourselves in if we're outside where there's a potential threat. Condition white is when we're maybe sat at home, all the doors are locked, we're just watching our favorite TV program, and we don't have to worry about any potential threats that surround us. However, if we're outside, then we want to be in condition yellow, or if we're anywhere where there might be, potential threats that might be around us at some point. So condition yellow is where we're not paranoid about certain things. I'm not, waiting to see, is anyone going to jump out of that doorway at me at any second now. I'm not paranoid about certain things, but I am, I'm aware, relaxed, but alert, and we're just aware of situations, things that are happening around us. So again, we've got good situational awareness. Orange would be maybe we've been in that state of yellow and we've been able to see a potential danger, so we're alert to a probable danger and ready to take action if necessary. Then red, obviously that's right at the top. If something does happen and we have to then focus on the emergency at hand. Obviously there is a condition called black, which is where we don't want to find ourselves, where we're in that panic state and everything we know just suddenly goes out the window. So being in a situational, having good situational awareness is going to make ourselves a harder target initially, but there are other things we need to think about. Because if you think about it, there are different ways that somebody, potential predator that has selected us out, can attack or assault us. It could be an ambush. This generally happens when we don't have that awareness, okay? And not having that awareness, we don't have the particular body language that goes with that awareness. So we're actually showing as well through our physiology that we're unaware. Another way that we might be attacked is maybe we do have awareness. Okay, we've been selected. However, they might then try and do certain things, especially if we're not aware. Maybe we are in a yellow. They might do certain things to try and turn off that awareness before they carry out that assault or that attack. Now, again, just being aware of certain things, we want to make sure we've got that body language to go with it. I mean, let's imagine that maybe I was in a condition yellow when I got out of my car. Maybe I'm walking to the bank or the supermarket. I suddenly get a text, or I suddenly think I need to check on my emails, because I've got an email that I'm waiting for, and I decide to get my phone out to give it a little bit of a look. Now, even though I might have been in a condition yellow when I got out of my car, the moment I get out of my phone and my whole focus, my whole mind is on this, I am now unaware of anything that's happening around me. So, even though I might have been in a higher condition, I've actually turned myself off into why? Because I don't know what's happening around me. So it wouldn't be that difficult while I'm in this state, while I'm looking at my phone, for somebody to select me out, you know, coming from the side, the back, the front, and ambush me at this stage. It could also be that maybe that we are in a kind of, in an area between white and yellow, okay? Sometimes we might be saying white or in yellow, but it could be like an in-between stage. Maybe I'm in yellow, I'm aware of certain things that are happening around me, but again, it's unrealistic to think I'm never going to check my phone at all while I'm out. You know, obviously that will be, you know, the thing that we're telling you to do at the minute, but maybe I suddenly do need to check my phone, or just for a second my mind goes off it, but I'm still in yellow. I'm still aware of my surroundings somewhat, so I'm still kind of looking around, but my body language, my physiology gives the impression that maybe I'm unaware. And by looking at my phone, it might not even be a phone, it might be, you know, I'm just looking somewhere else, or, you know, I'm you know, my gaze is, you know, looking some little different direction or whatever, and I'm giving off the impression that I'm not aware. Obviously at that point, that might, you know, for a potential predator that's selecting potential targets, okay, they've registered that, okay, this person is a potential target. And again, in that situation, we could be open for a particular ambush. Other ways that a potential predator might work as well is maybe I'm on my phone, they engage us, because again, maybe they're not working by themselves. You know, they might have other people working with them, for example, and it might be that, you know, even though you're switched off or you're giving off the impression that you're not aware, that, you know, they might be working in pairs and have that little bit of an extra kind of distraction technique, so to say, to disable our awareness even more. So again, I could be on my phone and suddenly I look up and someone said to me, "Excuse me, do you have the time?" You know, you see me looking at my phone, they're asking, you know, what the time is right now. Or it could be that maybe I'm just walking along and they ask me if I got the time and I get out my phone. Okay? My mind's now on this and this person. And while I'm doing that, maybe I'm talking with this person, they've asked me for, you know, for the time, I've got my phone, I'm engaged, or I'm looking at this person and that person, okay, it's 14:49. And before I know it, maybe I've got two other people smacking me on the back of the head or pulling me to the floor from behind. Because now I'm engaged with just what's in front of me and what's on here, okay? I'm not aware that, you know, there was two other people working with them. Now, this could also be the case that you were in a situation, condition yellow. Okay, maybe I was in yellow, maybe I am aware, I'm walking along, and somebody, instead of using a direct ambush against me, decides to turn off that awareness. Again, I could just be walking along and this person stops me and says, you know, can you tell me what time it is, please? Or do you have the time? Do you have the light? Do you have any change? It could be any number of questions, but this person has now stopped me and engaged me. Again, my focus is on this person. Okay, I got to get out my phone, I get out my lighter, I'll see if I've got any change. My mind's distracted, and while I'm engaged with this person in front of me, again, two people from behind can come and crack me on the back of the head, or coming from the side, or whatever. So I'm engaged with this person, so that has disabled, so to say, that state of awareness that I might have previously had. So just being aware of certain things. So now I'm conscious that this potential circumstance might happen. Something that you can actually try next time. Maybe you're walking along, maybe you are looking at your phone, or, you know, but you're still aware of certain things, or I'm just aware of, you know, my good situation awareness, and this individual asks me for a particular request, the time, change, lighter, whatever, okay, I get stopped by this individual. Instead of stopping and looking at this individual right here and not being aware of what's around me, what I could do is actually, as soon as they stop me and ask me for the change or the time or whatever that request is, instead of being directly in front of this person, one thing that I can do is I can kind of circle around a little bit and start talking with them now from this position. So imagine they're there, I'm now talking with them from here. What that's now done is, instead of being directly in front, by circling around, talking with this person there, and again I'm still in this state of awareness, or I'm alert to a potential probable danger. By being here, I can now see the individual who's in front of me, but also what I can also see is if there were any potential additional assailants, I can now see them as well. Okay, so now I don't have to worry that, okay, they're going to come in from behind, because they would have potentially come in from behind or from the side before, but now I can kind of see a little bit more with what's around me. So it could be an instance, maybe, okay, they've tried to disable our awareness, they've been unsuccessful, and that may potentially kind of thwart the attack a little bit. They decide, to leave us alone. Or it could be, okay, well, I still have to look at things I might have to do to physically defend myself or get away to safety, but at least now I'm a little bit more aware that there's not just one person, maybe there's 2 or 3 people, so we're aware of that multiple attacker scenario. So I'm going to start assessing in my own mind and trying to get some kind of situational control and look at what I will do to deal with this situation. Even if it was this and I had to physically, something went on in my mind where I felt I need to physically defend myself for whatever reason, but if I'm not aware of what's happening around me, I've not prepared myself for that situation. My focus is on this person, and I'm not prepared for the situation or the secondary attack that might be coming from behind if somebody else jumps in. Okay, whereas here, at least I'm aware of what's happening around. So again, they've stopped me, I've just spun around, I can now see who's if there's anyone else there, we can assess that situation. And I'm going to have to deal with 1 person or 2 and look at trying to make my escape, dealing with this number of people from here. I mean, it might be a genuine request for the time, or a genuine request for the change or the lighter or whatever it is, but again, it doesn't do any harm in turning around. And again, I've always got my hands up because I'm always thinking about distance management. So another thing that correlates with having this good situational awareness is our body language. Again, if we imagine like a potential predator was going to try and target us and single us out, again, if we're giving off the kind of wrong signals and maybe a body language persona that we're not very confident, or again we're not aware, we might be seeing again as an easier target. I mean, if you think about it, if someone was going to rob a house, for example, and there's a house with security cameras and big gates and everything else, barbed wire, and there's one next door where the doors are wide open, someone that's just looking for the opportunity, they're going to go for the easier target. Now again, if someone really wants something in that house with the barbed wire and everything else, again they're going to probably make a bit more of an effort to get in there, because they might be thinking, well, there's something specifically I want in that house, then that's a possibility. But again, just the general opportunity, singling someone out from a crowd of people, is just going to look for the easiest opportunity, the easiest target. So what does our body language, what does our physiology say about us when we're walking down the street? For example, if my head's down, hands in my pockets, and again I'm not making much eye contact with everyone, and I'm just looking like this all the time, maybe I'm walking pretty slowly and everything else, then again I don't look particularly that confident. And if I think back to when I was younger, and again I'll get into a little more detail with this in another video later on, again I never went looking for fights with anybody, and I was pretty aware of things that was happening around me, but again a lot of trouble and a lot of confrontation would actually come towards me. And again, when I was younger, before I started doing Gracie Jiu Jitsu and everything else, I wasn't a very confident person. I had very low self-esteem, and I did used to walk around a lot like this, not making very much eye contact and looking at the floor all the time, and I'd find a lot of things coming towards me. But Gracie Jiu Jitsu has changed my life, and I've become a lot more of a confident person. So again, just thinking about what signals are we giving off? Are we looking like an easy target? Think about your body language, think about the way you walk, the way you hold your head, your eye contact. Again, an opportunist attacker is going to be looking out for a number of these things as well. So do we look confident? Do we look aware? So again, just to recap, try and make yourself a bit more of a harder target. Obviously have that good situational awareness as we keep talking about, but have the body language to match with it. Again, personal safety wise, again just try and think about where you're parking your car. Do you have somebody else you can travel with? If it's not practical, then obviously we've got everything else that we're going back on towards, and just be aware of how people might initiate an attack. So again, even though we do teach a lot of practical skills to defend yourself in Gracie Jiu Jitsu and at Evolution Gracie Jiu Jitsu, again, we'd rather avoid the fight at all costs. Okay, that's all from us, and keep safe.